Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into one neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
So we got a bunch of topics to discuss today, including our main one,
which is The Marvels.
The second trailer for the upcoming The Marvels was released Thursday night, heralded by a countdown on social media prior to its launch. And the reactions are strange. Mother! You can see a sample of what we mean by strange reactions here. There's a lot more of them on Twitter if you'd like to see them. But basically, pages and pages of people saying things like, I love woman, or mother, or mothers.
Mother, women, mother. Someone please explain to me why they keep saying mother. I don't get it.
Well, actually, I was going to explain that. So one of the things I found out about this whole mother thing is that apparently it's a term now used, instead of used for, a female who gives birth or whatever, and mothers children, it's now used as a term for like a strong, empowered woman who takes charge, and it's apparently was coined by the LGBTQ plus community and whatever. It's weird.
That's the same thing as them changing body count to number of people killed to number of people slept with.
It is similar. My wife and I, we both watched Captain Marvel. I didn't hate it.
But we didn't really love it either.
Something important to clarify is that Captain Marvel was sandwiched between Infinity War and Endgame. Now, you can argue, well, there were other movies there too, but none of the other movies were made to be like this really important, crucial part that you need to know before going to see Endgame.
True.
This was. So yes, it made $1 billion. Congratulations. We all know it made $1 billion, and nobody is going to dispute that. But I don't see this movie doing well.
Yeah, neither do I. Not to mention that the CGI just looks like crap.
Yeah, the CGI looks like crap. They had to include the "don't tell me to smile" again.
That's funny.
Because they can't let go that people told Brie Larson to smile more? Okay.
I mean, she should. She should also get a personality.
When she smiles, she actually looks like a relatable person. So what's the problem with asking it? Oh, it's misogynistic? Not really. Bunch of people commenting and quoting and whatever and saying how they're going to go see it and whatever.
But there's no way these people are real. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over and over like we see so many times. People, seriously, when will they learn? Just because it's popular on Twitter does not mean those same people are going to show up in real life.
Exactly. It might break even, because I don't think that Marvel can afford for this to fail. But, as my wife just put, like it, retweet it, scream about it on Twitter, but if you don't go buy and actually support the product, which a lot of these people on Twitter do not do,
then it will fail. And just watch how they're going to buy some theaters again.
Now, you can't say that, honey, because we only heard people saying it, and because we don't have evidence.
Our evidence is literally hearing it with our own ears. Didn't you record it?
No, I didn't record it.
Oh, I thought you did.
I didn't record it. I heard it. But, I mean, look, we're not going to tell you to believe us or not. We're going to say that that's what we were told.
Yes, we literally overheard a conversation between two theater employees about how they were cleaning empty theaters after Multiverse of Madness.
It wouldn't be crazy for Disney to buy out certain theaters to make a movie look like it did well, because they need things to do well right now.
Do they even have the money to buy out theaters anymore?
I don't know. My hope is one of two things.
Mm-hmm.
One is that this movie tanks. Because, not because I hate Brie Larson or whatever, because they need to understand that these people they keep calling the minority, the misogynist incels, whatever they want to call them, first off, not misogynists, not incels. Second off, not a minority, majority. That's what I want them to learn. If it breaks even, that's the second option, it will still be bad for them because it will show that it just has enough people interested in it just to make the money it made back, and there's no need for anything further.
True.
It'll be interesting to see how this is. I'm not interested, not planning to go see it.
Neither of us are.
I mean, if you're going to go see it, cool, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. But I kind of hope that this movie will do as badly as I hope it will. Not because I'm mean, misogynist, whatever, but because I think that it's time that we get movies of higher quality. And I'm tired of seeing, like, cheap CGI used for everything, and we see a lot of it in this trailer.
Oh, yes, we do. Everything is CGI these days. I miss practical effects. And actual outdoor sets.
So we'll have to see what happens here. I have a feeling that this is not going to go over well in theaters because the audience for it might be on Twitter, but they are not in seats at the theater.
Indeed. Moving on! And speaking of Marvel, next up we have The Punisher.
We have all had enough punishment.
No kidding.
At San Diego Comic-Con 2023, Marvel announced a new Punisher series that centers not on Frank Castle, but on a character named Joe Garrison, a retired S.H.I.E.L.D. Black Ops agent who is brought back into the action after his past rears its violent head.
Frank Castle doesn't need a replacement. He needs, his dignity back.
Now, for those of you who don't know, the people writing Punisher lately have been doing a lot of things that weren't very good. Changing his logo, making him become the leader of the Hand and use swords, and then bringing his dead wife back to life and not his kids because doesn't need those.
And then his wife divorcing him and taking all of his money and basically destroying him from the inside out until he's no longer the Punisher. He's just Frank. You people at Marvel have destroyed one of the most popular characters in your franchise. No one is going to accept this new guy that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, you can get rid of the logo, you can get rid of Frank, you can do whatever you want. People are still going to use the logo. You're not going to stop them. I get that it triggers you, but you know what you do when you see people with the logo that you don't like? You ignore them.
You shut up and move on.
Exactly. It's easy. Pretend it's like Twitter. There's a block button. Use it. If you see people who have this and you're upset by it, you can cry about it to your therapist and you can not engage with them.
Unfortunately, most of these people have Twitter as their therapist.
Or TikTok.
Ugh, let's not even go there.
Regardless, this is stupid. Now, the guy's name is Joe Garrison. Compare it to Castle. They're literally like, they can't even come up with anything original.
And also, look at his outfit. You can see the skull clearly. They're not actually getting rid of his skull. It's just different. Not an actual skull. It just looks like a skull.
And we didn't give him guns because gun bad. So let's give him blasters of lasers or whatever. Because if he shoots people with lasers, that's somehow better?
It's not. Lasers have just the same effectiveness as bullets. One just shoots light, the other shoots metal, but both are quite deadly. A dumb idea, he looks terrible, the concept is terrible. We all know that the true Punisher is Frank frickin' Castle. Bring him back, give him back his dignity, give him back his guns, give him back his skull, and make him the Punisher again.
And stop saying that he's a terrorist or whatever. No, he was a character, an anti-hero made to go after the people that were above the law or used the law to get away with whatever they were doing. That doesn't make him a good person, but it doesn't make him a bad person either.
No, he was the guy who did whatever it took to get things done and took out the people that everyone else would not go near.
Exactly. And you're saying that he's a terrorist and all this kind of stuff and that, oh, he's a murderer, he deserves this. No, he doesn't. He's a character in Marvel, he's fictional, and he was not a bad guy. He was always an anti-hero, and that's what made him so appealing. You take that away, and you get what you got now.
Which is crap. Let's move on before I get angrier. And still in the realm of Disney, next up we have John Boyega.
I need work!
Too bad!
Despite saying in the past that he was done with Star Wars and that they won't Disney Plus me, Star Wars actor John Boyega says he's open to all opportunities for a franchise return.
It makes me wonder if they gave him money.
Probably not. John Boyega has been notorious for coming out and saying how he did not like the way Disney treated him on the set of the movies, and how they sidelined his character instead of making him kind of a centerpiece, which is what he originally was kind of what he was billed.
Yeah, his character of Finn had great potential. People actually were interested in him, of a stormtrooper defecting from the army, and they completely ruined that opportunity. Because of course they did, because it's Kathleen Kennedy and Disney Star Wars.
On the one hand, I can understand where John Boyega is coming from, because I haven't heard him in many mainstream products or mainstream films or shows or whatever lately. So he might need the work. And especially now, whatever work you can get is work.
I mean, there's the actor strike going on, so none of them are working.
My point being that he may be thinking his long-term potential and the fact that maybe he has a family to feed, maybe he has things to do. And look, I'm not going to get mad at him for going back to something if it will make him money. What I will say, it's very hypocritical to come out and say all the things about Disney and then to go begging them for scraps. What you should be doing is you should be telling them, here are the terms that I will come back under. You need to treat me better, you need to do whatever. You shouldn't be just saying, I'm open to all opportunities, because that makes you seem like a pushover.
Indeed.
That's all I have to say. Look, I'm not interested in Star Wars. If he comes back for the Rey Skywalker movie, whatever the heck.
Palpatine.
I don't care. I don't care. Do whatever it is you want. If it supports your family, fine. But don't pretend or get upset that Disney treats you badly again or shrinks you on posters for China when you knew they did that and you came crawling back.
Indeed. Moving on? And speaking of bad movies, next up we have Blue Beetle.
Early box office projections for the upcoming Blue Beetle film look to be utter nightmare fuel for Warner Bros. Discovery CEO Zaslav, James Gunn, Peter Safran, and their DC universe.
Wah, wah.
As you can see, the opening forecast range of what's going to open on opening weekend is 12 million to 17 million.
Which is pathetic, apparently.
That's worse than The Flash.
Yeah. I still sometimes have trouble really understanding these, how these movies do badly considering the millions in the numbers. But then once you're told the budget, it makes a lot more sense. And budgets for movies have been extremely high these days because of all the CGI, instead of them using practical effects, actual suits, actual sets, and, better acting.
So that's a terrible opening number. The domestic total is going to be somewhere between 27 million to 55 million.
Supposedly.
Now, keep in mind, these are just estimates. It could do better. But I'm not surprised because, A, this is a character that is not well known. B, it's a character that not many people like. And C, you keep showing a trailer where one of the characters calls Batman a fascist. You're not exactly going to win people over with that.
Exactly.
Look, this could actually end up being good or whatever, but what I think we can look at from this and take away from it is that people are saying, oh, superhero fatigue is not a thing. No, it is.
Bad movie fatigue is even worse.
Yes, but keep in mind, I think that if somebody made a unique take on a superhero movie, it would do well. The problem is superhero fatigue is a thing, not because we're getting too many superhero movies, but because we're getting too many generic superhero movies. Do something different. Joker did amazing. Why? Because it was new. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 didn't do amazing, but it made its money back. Why? Because they're different from the same old, same old. All of this stuff has become super formulaic, and so of course we have fatigue for superheroes. Those kind of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Where is a gritty superhero horror story?
Oh, can I write one?
You have to talk with Josiah.
Yes.
We'll wait and see. Maybe it'll do better, maybe it won't, but...
Meh. Yeah, I don't care. I don't think I was going to see this one anyway. Especially after that fascist line.
And he tried to explain away it and explain why it was there, and the character, whatever, was the type of character who would say that thing, and that's what he does. That's fine. But you should have come out with that in the beginning, not gone, well, I've done my job, triggering all the people. And now you're surprised that your movie's not doing well? I wonder if there's a correlation between treating fans badly and fans not showing up to your movie.
Indeed. What a mystery.
Guess we'll never know.
Moving on. And speaking of bad, next up we have Kevin Smith.
Masters of the Universe Revelations showrunner and creator Kevin Smith rejected theories and speculation that the animated Netflix show performing poorly with audiences affected the reported cancellation of a live-action He-Man film at Netflix.
I would not be surprised if there actually were a correlation.
I would not be surprised either if there was a correlation, mind you. He could be 100% right that it's not anything to do with him. But if that's the case, why are you responding to randos on Twitter getting all mad and bent out of shape about it?
Because that's what he does on a regular basis besides take pictures of himself crying, which is absolutely pathetic.
They're saying they're still shopping this around, so maybe there still will be a live-action He-Man, just not at Netflix. But, Kevin, you know that bad Kevin you keep mentioning? That's who you are 24/7. All you needed to do was create a product that people would like that respected what was originally there. You literally lied, got caught, and now you're like, well, part 2's coming out, and please come support it, and I'm good guy.
Maybe, if you give Clownfish that apology you owe them.
That would actually do you a world of good.
Indeed. Clownfish TV ended up being right about a lot of things regarding your show, and you shut them down. If you actually came out and apologized to them sincerely, you might get some of your audience back.
Maybe. Now, also, given that, what you just said about Clownfish, you lashed out at them when they didn't even say for certain something was the case. This sounds like a similar situation. So, you fooled us once, but guess what? Now, people know what you do now. And now that you're behaving this way, it's not crazy for people to go, is he pulling another Kevin Smith?
Well, yeah, he's Kevin Smith.
Yes. That's what we call this now, okay? For you, let's rename the bait and switch to the Kevin Smith, because that's what you do. This movie's so great! Look, I'm gonna go splash some water in my eyes! Am I so manly?
No. You're a pathetic child.
Let's hope that your next season of Revolutions comes out and you actually learn from it. I doubt it, but let's hope. As far as the live-action He-Man film, I don't need to see one.
Yeah, me neither.
I feel for the fans of this franchise. All you had to do was give them something palatable. Or you could have even said, hey, this show's going to be different. It's going to focus mostly on Teela. If you had said that, you wouldn't have lost as much of an audience. The fact is you baited and switched, and you messed up. You pulled the Kevin Smith. If you're going to do it again, it wouldn't be surprising because you are Kevin Smith. And that's where we coined that phrase from.
Indeed. And thus we move on to The Witcher.
The Witcher executive producer Tomek Baginski recently teased how the Netflix series will handle Liam Hemsworth replacing Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia in a very meta way that incorporates ideas from the books.
They're turning it into a multiverse.
Now, The Witcher is a multiverse to some degree.
True, but only Ciri had the ability to teleport between dimensions. There is no record in any of the books of her bringing anyone else with her to said dimensions, except for her horse.
It might be that she goes into another dimension and meets this new Geralt and can't go home.
Maybe, but then how do you explain Yennefer?
I don't know. What I will say is this. You guys screwed up. You made Henry Cavill walk away. The fans do not like this, and even if you keep trying and doubling down and trying to win people back, your abysmal writing isn't helping you. You can cry and scream and yell and say, we're doing it with the book this time. But when the product comes out, guess what? Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Indeed. Even the cast members have praised Henry Cavill for his knowledge of this franchise. And they are devastated that he's walked away. Because he knows what he's doing. He's passionate. I remember hearing something about him telling his agent, I don't care if I don't get paid. I want to give the fans the Geralt of Rivia they deserve, because he really wanted the role. He wanted to give it to the fans because Henry Cavill himself is a fan.
And you scared him away, and with him, you also scared what remained of your fan base away. Because he was the main reason people were sticking around. You got rid of that, and guess what? You got no Henry Cavill to hide behind. Liam Hemsworth might be a good Geralt, and that's cool. But I don't foresee this doing well. I see that the next season will be a bump in viewership because people will be trying to see how Liam Hemsworth handles the role. And then there will be a slump, and it will never come back because you guys ruined it. You should have done better. And guess what? You reap what you sow.
Indeed. You should have let Henry write the scripts.
Or you should have listened to him and made changes based on things that he said. You did before, and it went over well. If you see that he knows what he's doing, you don't have to rely on him all the time, but you can take notes from what he has to say and make changes to appease people, to help people feel better about it. But you wouldn't do that because you wanted to push all your garbage, and now guess what? You can push all your garbage right into the trash can where it belongs. How about you take your multiverse and put it in the trash along with the rest?
We don't need more trash in the multiverse. There are already too many multiverses as is. Moving on. And lastly, we have the Barbie movie.
Weirdo journalists say, despite months of campy promos, Greta Gerwig's new Barbie film, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, leans hard on heteronormativity.
It's literally a patriarchy versus matriarchy movie.
Now, to clarify, my wife and I have not seen Barbie. We're not planning to see Barbie.
We have, however, listened to some extensive reviews about said movie.
Yes. However, we're not going to give our opinions on the movie as a whole because we have not seen it and therefore it would not be fair. What we've heard doesn't sound very good.
Not at all.
But this article caught my attention because of a stupid quote in it. And, honey, would you like to read the quote?
Barbie is like a drag performance of heterosexuality. It's so exaggerated that it exemplifies the ways that heterosexuality itself is constructed and performed. What the hell does that even mean?
I don't even understand what this is saying. If you're trying to say that basically, I think what I'm getting from this is they're trying to say that the heteronormativity or heterosexuality are so blatant in this movie that it almost comes off as like a satirical drag thing. Drag's not satirical, sorry.
Let's not even discuss that.
We're not giving our opinions, but I don't see drag that way. And again, if a movie is focused on heterosexuality, guess what?
What?
You know what's crazy? Most movies are.
I know. You never actually hear that being used as marketing like they do for the gays.
Attention, attention! This movie has a straight white male in it. Will you go see it? But sir, I'd like to know the plot. But we also have a straight white female in it. And they do stuff in the bedroom. Would you like to go see it now? Imagine if we got that.
No one would care.
Oh wait, that is what we get. We get it right now with, attention, this is the first black, non-binary, albino snake ever in a movie.
There is such thing as a black albino.
Whatever.
But I was never going to see this movie anyway. It's got too much pink for me, and let's not even get into how I treated my Barbies when I grew out of them. I probably would get this video demonetized.
I've heard good things about the movie and bad things about the movie. And I've heard there's some good parts and I've heard there's some bad parts. We haven't seen it, so we're not going to necessarily give our opinions on it. We will say that you can go figure it out for yourself. I would suggest at least trying to get a spoiler-free review before you go so you at least know what to expect. Or at least have some idea, because if you go there expecting a campy Barbie movie, according to what we've heard, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, you're going to get something about the patriarchy instead.
And again, if that's your thing, go ahead. But if it's not, just at least know that coming in.
I don't care. I just puke all over the screen because of all the pink! Get it away from me!
And I would puke over this article because weirdo journalists say weirdo journalist thing.
Indeed.
Congrats on your 3 clicks.
And seek help. Moving on. And with that being our last client of the day, it is time for us to reveal the diagnosis of the week.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you today.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is pathological demand avoidance.
Please explain.
So pathological demand avoidance is usually something found in people with autism and usually found in children. Basically is people will go to certain behaviors, extreme behaviors, to ignore anything they perceive as a demand. So for example, if fans say, hey, we would like you to go by the source material, instead of seeing it as a, wow, the fans are really passionate and care, they see it as, oh my god, you don't get to make demands of me, I'm going to put what I want in this. Sound familiar? I bet it does, because we see it a lot in Hollywood. Acted out online, acted out in movies, all the time. If people have things to say about your movie, and guess what? If they're critical, it doesn't make them a bunch of insert names here. And just because you look at it as a demand to do better, that's not our problem. It's not a demand to do better. We're telling you, hey, you should do better to get a bigger fan base. If that's not something you want to do, then you will reap the consequences. That is your choice. But don't pretend that we're the bad guys, because we're not. Fans care, and that's what makes your movies and your stuff profitable. And that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
And now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week we will be sending you to Culture Casino. Another channel dedicated to pop culture has a show every day called The 6 Minute Daily, in which he just recaps things that happened the previous day. Also has been very good to us every time we meet him, and like his name suggests, when he goes to the meetups, he hands out poker chips with his channel on it. We have at least 3 by now.
I think we're missing a couple because I'm sure he went to meetups that we didn't go to, but hey, Culture, you need to have like a complete set thing where you can like complete your set.
And then get like a free thing of something, I don't know. But he's a great guy. It's worth checking him out. We decided to give him this shout out because we want to help him get to 10,000 subs.
So he just recently broke 9,000 subscribers, and that's great. But I think we can get him to 10,000. Not sure if it will be today, but I think that, giving him a good shout out here might be helpful. And, hopefully give him a little extra push, which might get him there a bit faster.
Indeed. So grab your bets, head on over there, and let him know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. But that is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. But remember, when you do subscribe, your first session is free, so smash those buttons like they're bad kitties. And do consider joining us at the Dusk, Midnight, or Dawn level. We would appreciate it quite a lot. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server known as The Clinic. Be sure to check them out. And if you don't want to stick with us here on YouTube, you can also follow us on Rumble and Odyssey.
We will have some news about watching birds coming up at some point. We're going to have to make a couple changes to how we go about that, but we are going to still do the show. It's just going to be a bit changed. We'll have more news on that going forward. But otherwise, that's all we have for this week, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy